Positivity is a choice, a deliberate act of the mind, a conscious decision to approach life with clarity and hope rather than fear or despair. It is not something we are born with, nor is it dependent on circumstance. It is a skill we cultivate, a lens through which we decide to view the world. Every morning presents a set of decisions, and the first of these is how we choose to perceive what lies ahead. To embrace positivity is to decide that no matter what challenges may come, we will confront them with resilience and openness rather than surrendering to negativity or cynicism. It begins with awareness. The mind is constantly generating thoughts, some constructive, others destructive. To choose positivity, we must first recognize when our thoughts are drifting toward doubt, resentment, or fear. It requires a level of self-awareness that is honest and uncompromising. This awareness is not a one-time achievement, but a daily practice, a constant tuning into the inner dialogue that shapes our experience of reality. Positivity does not ignore difficulty. Rather, it acknowledges the challenge while insisting that there is a path forward. Choosing positivity means refusing to let external circumstances dictate our inner state. Life is unpredictable, full of obstacles and setbacks, yet our response is within our control. Every situation can be interpreted in countless ways, and the way we frame our experiences determines whether we are empowered or defeated by them. When we choose positivity, we refuse to give undue power to the negative forces around us. We take ownership of our mindset, recognizing that our perspective has the capacity to shape outcomes far more than the obstacles themselves. It requires courage to remain positive, especially when surrounded by skepticism or negativity. Positivity is not a passive state. It is an active stance against the pull of despair and frustration. It challenges us to seek solutions rather than dwell on problems, to find opportunities within setbacks, and to maintain hope when circumstances feel bleak. Choosing positivity is a form of strength that demonstrates resilience, patience, and determination. It is the quiet but powerful force that allows individuals to persist where others might give up. To embrace positivity is to cultivate trust in oneself and in the process of growth. It is a recognition that every challenge, every failure, and every setback carries within it the seeds of learning and transformation. Positivity allows us to see potential where others see only impossibility. It invites curiosity rather than judgment, exploration rather than avoidance. When we choose this mindset, we give ourselves permission to move forward without being paralyzed by fear, allowing creativity and innovation to flourish. Choosing positivity also demands self-discipline. It is easy to succumb to pessimism or frustration when the world seems overwhelming, but consciously redirecting our thoughts toward constructive, hopeful perspectives requires practice. It involves monitoring our language, both internally and externally, and deliberately framing our communication in ways that uplift rather than diminish. Every thought we nurture has the potential to grow into action, and choosing positivity ensures that the actions we take are aligned with growth, encouragement, and possibility. Positivity extends beyond the self. It influences others in profound ways. When we choose to approach challenges with hope, optimism, and proactive energy, we model behaviors that inspire those around us. Our mindset becomes a magnet, attracting collaboration, support, and collective resilience. By choosing positivity, we not only enhance our own lives, but also create an environment where others feel empowered to act with confidence and courage. It is important to recognize that choosing positivity does not mean denying the existence of pain, hardship, or disappointment. It means confronting these realities with an intentional focus on what can be done, what can be learned, and how we can respond constructively. Positivity is a commitment to action rather than a retreat into wishful thinking. It is a strategy for thriving in a world where unpredictability is the only constant, and it equips us to navigate life's complexities with grace and determination. Ultimately, the choice to embrace positivity is a declaration of agency. It is a statement that our happiness, our growth, and our ability to influence the world are not determined solely by circumstance, but by our willingness to see possibility and act upon it. Each decision, each response, each perspective we adopt contributes to a larger trajectory that shapes not only our lives, but also the lives of those we touch. Positivity is therefore both an internal compass and a force of external influence, guiding us through uncertainty while inspiring those around us. Choosing positivity is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, persistence, and a continuous commitment to aligning our thoughts, words, and actions with hope and possibility. It is cultivated in the small moments, how we respond to a setback, the way we speak to ourselves, the choices we make when faced with adversity. Over time, these small choices accumulate, forming a mindset that not only endures challenges, but also transforms them into opportunities for growth, connection, and achievement. Positivity is contagious. The energy you carry, the way you show up in every interaction, has the power to ripple through the people around you in ways that are both visible and invisible. It is not limited to the people you speak to directly. It spreads through the atmosphere you create, shaping moods, attitudes, and behaviors without anyone even realizing it. Just as a single spark can ignite a fire, a single act of optimism can inspire a cascade of belief and action in those who witness it. When we approach situations with positivity, we create an environment where collaboration flourishes. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate hope and confidence because it feels safe and energizing. Teams respond differently when the leader or the influential voices among them choose encouragement over criticism, possibility over doubt. Positivity fosters trust, strengthens relationships, and builds a culture in which everyone feels capable of contributing their best. Positivity also changes perception. When a positive mindset permeates a group, challenges are reframed as opportunities and setbacks become lessons rather than defeats. Individuals begin to believe in their potential because they are consistently met with reinforcement rather than resistance. The contagious nature of optimism is amplified when others see that effort, perseverance, and belief are recognized and celebrated. This creates a feedback loop where positivity breeds more positivity, multiplying its effect exponentially. It extends beyond immediate interactions. It influences decisions, actions, and long-term outcomes. In environments where optimism is encouraged, creativity flourishes, risks are approached with confidence, and problem-solving becomes proactive rather than reactive. Positivity acts as a lubricant that reduces friction, allowing collaboration to move smoothly and ideas to flow freely. It transforms hesitation into initiative and uncertainty into opportunity, and those who contribute to this atmosphere become agents of change simply through the energy they choose to bring. Contagious positivity is not about ignoring reality or masking challenges. It is about framing reality in a way that empowers and motivates. It is the ability to acknowledge difficulties while highlighting the possibilities that exist within them. When others observe this behavior consistently, they internalize it. They begin to approach their own challenges with a mindset that prioritizes solutions and growth rather than stagnation or fear. What starts as one person's choice becomes a collective force, shaping the culture and productivity of the entire group. The impact of contagious positivity can be seen in both personal and professional realms. In families, it fosters warmth, understanding, and resilience. In workplaces, it drives performance, engagement, and innovation. Communities respond to positivity by embracing collaboration, generosity, and shared purpose. It is a universal force because human beings naturally gravitate toward energy that uplifts, motivates, and inspires. When we radiate optimism, we are not just improving our own experience, we are creating conditions for others to thrive. Positivity encourages influence without authority. You do not need a title, a position, or a formal role to shape the energy of those around you. A smile, a word of encouragement, a willingness to see the best in someone or something can spark a shift in collective mindset. People notice when energy is constructive, and they respond in kind. This influence compounds, creating a network of people whose actions are subtly aligned toward growth, collaboration, and mutual support. It is also a source of resilience during challenges. When difficulties arise, the collective energy of a positive environment can buffer against despair and hopelessness. People draw strength from the optimism around them, and it motivates them to persist, innovate, and adapt rather than retreat. Contagious positivity becomes a stabilizing force, an anchor that allows groups to navigate uncertainty with confidence and resolve. Positivity fosters empathy and understanding. When we radiate hope and encouragement, others feel seen, valued, and understood. This emotional resonance spreads, making interactions more meaningful and effective. Contagious positivity builds relationships that are rooted in trust and mutual respect, and these relationships form the foundation for enduring success in every area of life. Ultimately, contagious positivity is both deliberate and natural. It is deliberate because it requires awareness and intentionality in how we show up, speak, and respond to challenges. It is natural because when cultivated, it flows effortlessly, influencing every interaction and relationship. It becomes a self-reinforcing cycle where energy inspires energy, hope generates hope, and belief multiplies belief, creating an environment where individuals and communities can achieve more than they ever imagined. Mindset shapes outcomes. The way we perceive our circumstances, the beliefs we hold about ourselves and our abilities, has a profound impact on the results we achieve. It is not merely a philosophical idea, it is a practical truth. Our thoughts drive our actions, and our actions determine our results. A positive mindset allows us to approach challenges with creativity, confidence, and resilience, whereas a negative mindset can limit potential, reduce motivation, and create unnecessary obstacles. Every situation presents multiple paths, multiple interpretations, and multiple opportunities. The mindset we choose acts as a filter, determining which of those possibilities we see and which we ignore. When we operate with optimism, curiosity, and belief in our ability to influence outcomes, we are more likely to recognize opportunities that others overlook. Conversely, when doubt, fear, or skepticism dominate our thinking, we tend to focus on limitations and barriers, often missing chances that could transform our trajectory. The connection between mindset and outcomes is evident in the stories of those who have achieved extraordinary results. Successful individuals often encounter failure, setbacks, and criticism, yet their mindset allows them to persist. They approach obstacles as temporary challenges rather than insurmountable walls. Their mindset shapes not only how they respond to adversity, but also how they influence the people and circumstances around them. Positivity, belief, and resilience amplify effort, creating outcomes that align with possibility rather than limitation. Our mindset is particularly influential in times of uncertainty. Life is rarely linear, and unexpected events can derail even the best laid plans. A mindset grounded in possibility equips us to navigate ambiguity with confidence, to make decisions despite incomplete information, and to maintain focus when circumstances feel chaotic. This mental framework allows us to adapt, pivot, and persevere, turning potential disruptions into opportunities for growth and learning rather than sources of fear or paralysis. Mindset shapes how we interpret feedback and criticism. When we view challenges as threats, we react defensively, often shutting down creativity and innovation. When we approach challenges with a growth-oriented mindset, we see feedback as information, criticism as opportunity, and failure as a lesson. This perspective encourages experimentation, risk-taking, and learning, all of which are critical for achieving meaningful outcomes. The mindset we cultivate becomes a lens through which we translate experience into progress rather than into discouragement. The ripple effect of mindset extends beyond the individual. Teams, organizations, and communities all respond to the collective mindset of their members. A culture that values optimism, learning, and proactive thinking produces higher engagement, more collaboration, and more consistent success. Conversely, a culture dominated by fear, doubt, or cynicism can stifle innovation, lower morale, and limit results. The attitudes and beliefs we bring into interactions shape the energy and outcomes of those around us in subtle but powerful ways. Mindset also determines how we allocate our energy. Belief in possibility focuses attention, effort, and resources on solutions rather than distractions. It motivates persistence, encourages resilience, and reinforces the value of consistent effort. Negative thinking, by contrast, often leads to wasted energy, procrastination, and diminished focus. By consciously cultivating a mindset aligned with growth, optimism, and problem solving, we channel our energy toward actions that produce measurable results. Developing the right mindset requires self-awareness and intentional practice. It is not enough to hope for positive thinking. We must actively choose the beliefs that guide our behavior. This involves challenging limiting thoughts, reframing challenges, and consciously reinforcing perspectives that empower action. It also involves surrounding ourselves with people, experiences, and environments that support a growth-oriented and positive mindset, because mindset is both self-generated and influenced by the world around us. Mindset shapes our perception of time and progress. Those with a positive and growth-oriented mindset understand that results are rarely immediate, that effort compounds over time, and that setbacks are part of the journey rather than signals of defeat. This long-term perspective allows for patience, persistence, and sustained motivation, all of which are critical for achieving outcomes that are meaningful and lasting. Without the right mindset, even the best strategies and plans can falter, but with it, challenges become stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Ultimately, mindset is the foundation upon which outcomes are built. It determines the scope of our vision, the intensity of our effort, and the resilience of our perseverance. The way we interpret events, approach challenges, and invest our energy directly influences the results we achieve. A mindset rooted in optimism, possibility, and belief in our ability to shape our future empowers us to act decisively, adapt strategically, and create outcomes that align with our highest aspirations. Positivity is a practice, a discipline that requires deliberate action and consistent effort. It is not something that magically appears. It is cultivated through daily choices, repeated behaviors, and intentional focus. Just like any skill, the more we practice positivity, the more natural and effortless it becomes. Each small act of optimism, encouragement, or solution-oriented thinking strengthens our ability to approach life with confidence and resilience. Over time, these consistent actions form a mental habit that shapes the way we perceive challenges and opportunities. Practicing positivity begins with self-awareness. We must recognize the moments when negativity, doubt, or fear begin to take hold. It is in these moments that our choices matter the most. By observing our thoughts and emotions without judgment, we create the space to respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. Awareness allows us to identify patterns, understand triggers, and intervene before negativity dictates our actions or mindset. Each conscious decision to choose optimism over pessimism is a step in building a sustainable practice. Language plays a crucial role in the practice of positivity. The words we speak to ourselves and others carry immense power. Self-talk, whether affirming or critical, shapes how we approach challenges and perceive our own potential. Choosing words that uplift, encourage, and inspire reinforces a mindset of possibility. Similarly, Our communication with others influences their perception, morale, and energy. Positive language is both a reflection of our mindset and a tool to strengthen it, creating a reinforcing cycle that nurtures optimism and resilience. Positivity as a practice also involves focus and attention. Our minds are naturally drawn to problems, threats, and obstacles, but the practice of positivity redirects attention to solutions, possibilities, and growth. This does not mean ignoring reality or denying difficulties. It means consciously choosing to prioritize constructive thought and action. By directing attention to what can be done, we enhance our ability to respond effectively and creatively, turning challenges into opportunities for learning and advancement. Consistency is a cornerstone of this practice. Positivity must be exercised not only when it is easy, but especially when it is difficult. It is in moments of stress, uncertainty, or adversity that the practice matters most. Each act of maintaining an optimistic perspective during tough times strengthens our mental resilience and reinforces the belief that we are capable of navigating complexity. Over time, consistency transforms positivity from a deliberate choice into an instinctive approach that guides behavior automatically. Another important aspect of practicing positivity is intentional exposure to inspiring influences. Surrounding ourselves with people, stories, and experiences that exemplify hope, courage, and resilience reinforces our own mindset. Positivity grows when it is nurtured in an environment that encourages optimism, learning, and collaboration. Just as a plant thrives with sunlight and water, our ability to maintain a positive practice flourishes when supported by external sources that energize and uplift. The practice of positivity also involves reflection and gratitude. Taking the time to acknowledge progress, celebrate small wins, and appreciate the present cultivates a sense of abundance and possibility. Reflection allows us to learn from mistakes without judgment and to reinforce behaviors that lead to growth. Gratitude shifts our focus from scarcity and limitation to appreciation and opportunity, creating a foundation for sustained optimism and constructive action. Positivity as a practice is not limited to internal mindset. It is expressed through action. Helping others, encouraging colleagues, and fostering collaboration are all ways to reinforce positivity externally. Every positive action, no matter how small, contributes to a culture of optimism and growth. By translating mindset into behavior, we strengthen both our own practice and the collective energy of those around us, creating a ripple effect that multiplies impact. The practice of positivity requires patience. It is not immediate, and results are not always visible. Just as physical fitness develops gradually with consistent exercise, a positive mindset strengthens over time through repeated effort. Patience allows us to sustain the practice even when challenges persist, setbacks occur, or progress seems slow. By committing to the process, we gradually build mental and emotional resilience that enables us to navigate life with stability, hope, and confidence. Ultimately, practicing positivity is a lifelong commitment. It is cultivated moment by moment, thought by thought, action by action. Each deliberate choice to focus on solutions, maintain optimism, and uplift ourselves and others strengthens the habit and expands its influence. Through consistent practice, positivity becomes more than a mindset. It becomes a guiding principle that informs decisions, shapes relationships, and transforms the way we experience and respond to the world. Small actions create big ripples. Every choice we make, every word we speak, and every gesture we extend carries a weight far greater than we often realize. Positivity is not always about grand gestures or monumental achievements. It often begins in the smallest moments. A kind word, a smile, a note of encouragement, or an act of support may seem insignificant at first, but these small actions have the power to influence others, shift energy, and ignite change that extends far beyond our immediate awareness. These ripples are cumulative. One small act of encouragement can inspire someone to take their next step forward, and in turn, that person may inspire others in their own circle. The energy spreads, amplifying exponentially as it moves through individuals, communities, and even organizations. Positivity is like a pebble dropped into a pond. The initial impact is subtle, but the ripples travel outward, touching shores we may never see or anticipate. Each act, no matter how small, contributes to a larger wave of influence and transformation. Small actions also build momentum. Taking a single step toward optimism, solution-oriented thinking, or proactive behavior reinforces the belief that change is possible. Each positive choice strengthens confidence, encourages persistence, and validates the power of effort. Momentum grows quietly, almost imperceptibly, until it reaches a tipping point where the collective impact becomes undeniable. What starts as a minor, individual act can ultimately catalyze significant shifts in mindset, behavior, and results. These ripples often occur in subtle, intangible ways. A single expression of kindness or understanding can alter the emotional state of someone in profound ways. It can change the tone of a conversation, the dynamics of a team, or the attitude of a workplace. Small actions communicate values, beliefs, and intentions without needing formal authority or explicit instruction. By choosing positivity in these moments, we influence culture, perception, and outcomes in ways that are invisible yet deeply consequential. The impact of small actions is amplified when combined with consistency. One positive gesture may be powerful, but repeated, intentional acts over time build trust, credibility, and influence. People begin to recognize patterns and anticipate positive energy, which in turn shapes their behavior and mindset. Consistency transforms individual acts into a culture of optimism, collaboration, and possibility. The small, repeated choices compound into a larger force that drives meaningful change. Small actions also encourage accountability. When we make an effort to lead with positivity, we demonstrate responsibility for our influence on others. Every interaction is an opportunity to reinforce constructive behavior, support growth, and model resilience. By acting intentionally in even the smallest moments, we cultivate habits that define character and inspire others to adopt similar approaches. Accountability magnifies the impact of small actions, ensuring that positivity spreads with purpose and direction. Ripples from small actions are not always predictable. A kind word spoken in passing may inspire someone to take a step that changes the course of their life. A small gesture of support may give someone the courage to persist in the face of adversity. Positivity works in ways we often cannot foresee, and the effects of our actions may manifest days, months, or even years later. This unpredictability underscores the importance of maintaining consistent, intentional positive behavior, regardless of immediate recognition or reward. Small actions create connection. When we engage with others positively, we strengthen relationships, build trust, and foster collaboration. People respond to energy more than they respond to instruction or authority. By choosing to act with optimism, encouragement, and support, we create an environment where others feel empowered, valued, and motivated to contribute. The ripples of connection extend beyond the individual, influencing groups, teams, and communities in ways that amplify both engagement and productivity. These small actions also reinforce our own mindset. Each positive choice strengthens our sense of agency, our belief in possibility, and our capacity to create impact. Positivity becomes self-reinforcing as we witness the effects of our actions on others. The knowledge that even the smallest gesture can inspire, motivate, or support someone fosters a sense of responsibility, purpose, and fulfillment that further fuels proactive, optimistic behavior. Ultimately, small actions are the building blocks of transformation. They demonstrate that impact is not measured solely by scale, but by intention, consistency, and energy. Each gesture, word, or choice contributes to a larger story, shaping culture, inspiring others, and creating momentum that can influence outcomes far beyond what we immediately see. Positivity thrives in these small, intentional acts, which ripple outward to create change, connection, and possibility in ways that are profound and far-reaching. A call to action is the bridge between intention and impact. Positivity is not meant to remain theoretical or abstract. It demands that we act upon it, translating mindset into behavior. Thinking positively is not enough unless it manifests in deliberate, courageous, and purposeful action. Every decision, every interaction, every choice to influence the world with optimism requires commitment. Without action, the energy of positivity remains potential, untapped, and unable to shape outcomes. Taking action begins with clarity of purpose. When we understand why positivity matters, why our perspective and energy have the power to influence others, we are more likely to move beyond passive intention. Purpose fuels motivation, guides decisions, and sustains effort even when circumstances are difficult. A clear sense of why allows us to prioritize actions that are meaningful, impactful, and aligned with our values, ensuring that positivity is not just a temporary mood, but a strategic approach to life. Action is amplified by courage. It takes bravery to act with positivity in challenging situations, to uplift when others are discouraged, and to persist when setbacks occur. Courage transforms intention into tangible outcomes. It is the willingness to speak words of encouragement when criticism surrounds us, to extend help when others retreat, and to maintain faith in possibilities when the odds feel stacked against us. Action without courage remains tentative. Courage without action remains theoretical. Together, they produce the tangible influence of positivity. Intentional action requires prioritization. Life presents countless opportunities, and not all deserve our energy. The call to action of positivity demands that we focus on choices that generate meaningful impact. It is about identifying moments where optimism, encouragement, or constructive behavior can shift dynamics, inspire others, and influence outcomes. Prioritization ensures that our efforts are concentrated where they matter most, transforming individual acts into ripples that extend far beyond our immediate awareness. Action is reinforced by consistency. One act of positivity may inspire, but repeated, deliberate efforts create lasting influence. Consistency signals reliability, builds trust, and reinforces culture. When we act positively over time, we shape expectations, strengthen relationships, and cultivate an environment where optimism is normalized and contagious. The repeated choice to act with positivity multiplies impact, creating an ecosystem of encouragement, collaboration, and forward momentum. Collaboration magnifies action. Positivity grows stronger when shared, and the effects of our actions are multiplied when they inspire others to act. Encouraging a colleague, supporting a friend, or uplifting a community does not only impact that single moment, it creates networks of influence. Each person touched by our action carries the energy forward, expanding the scope of impact and embedding positivity into broader contexts. Collective action transforms individual intention into a force capable of shaping organizations, communities, and even society. Action is grounded in accountability. To act positively requires owning our influence and recognizing the consequences of our behavior. Accountability ensures that our actions align with our values, intentions, and purpose. It encourages reflection on both successes and failures, allowing us to learn, adjust, and reinforce constructive patterns. Accountability amplifies the effectiveness of our actions, making positivity a deliberate, responsible, and reliable force in our interactions and decisions. Timeliness is critical in action. The power of positivity is often most needed in moments of urgency, stress, or adversity. Acting promptly, offering support when it matters most, and stepping forward when others hesitate creates disproportionate influence. Timely action demonstrates attentiveness, empathy, and leadership, signaling to others that optimism is not passive but active, responsive, and capable of shaping outcomes in the moment. Action requires adaptability. Positivity is not rigid. It shifts in response to circumstances, people, and needs. Effective action is sensitive to context, flexible in approach, and creative in execution. Being adaptable allows us to apply positivity where it will be most effective, adjusting methods, timing, and messaging to maximize impact. Adaptability ensures that action remains relevant, practical, and transformative, even in dynamic and unpredictable environments. Ultimately, action turns potential into reality. The power of positivity lies not only in thought, belief, or intention, but in the consistent, courageous, and purposeful steps we take to bring it into the world. Each decision to act, to influence, to uplift, and to inspire compounds into outcomes that reshape individuals, teams, communities, and culture. Positivity is most powerful when it is lived, practiced, and enacted through deliberate action that drives change, creates opportunity, and inspires others to join in the movement.